From the Idaho Central Arena in downtown Boise, the Steelheads looking to get back to winning ways here tonight as it's game 2 of a best-of-3 set with the three-peat Kelly Cup champions, the Florida Everblades. Good evening, hockey fans. Cam McGuire here alongside Kelly Cup champion Corey Scorin. Well, Scorsy, you weren't with us on Wednesday night. Steelheads played shorthanded for the third or fourth game, suffered a lot of injuries as well. We saw Demetrios Comances up front leave the game at one point. He returned. He'll be back in the lineup, which is a good sign. But what is not a good sign is C.J. Walker. We did not see him after the first period. He will not be able to go here tonight and expected to miss some time. But for the first time, Idaho will have a full lineup. We'll see the addition of 2 new forwards, which we'll touch on in a while. It's been tough sledding here over the last couple of weeks. I know you know all about it, but the silver lining is here tonight. We'll get a full roster on the ice for Idaho.
Yeah, it's good to have that full roster, some new guys in the lineup, and, it's part of the game. Guys get hurt in and out of the lineup. You got to play short. It's, really time for the team to come together here and rally around this.
We'll hear from Associate Coach Keenan Kelly in just a moment. Looking at tonight's starting goaltenders, well, on Wednesday night, Cam Johnson, who has a goals against average at 1.60 now, a save percentage at .940. His numbers are ridiculous this season. Well, fortunately enough for Idaho, they will not see Cam Johnson here tonight as the Everblades will hand things off to Will Cranley. Cranley, under an NHL contract with the St. Louis Blues, actually played a handful of games last year with the Utah Grizzlies. Cranley last year was 2-3 against Idaho. So, you look back to Johnson, his record 18-2-1 this season. Idaho hopefully going to be able to get some by Cranley here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to have a different look in net there. And, they've beat him before. So, they're at home. They got a full lineup. I'm sure they're going to want to test him early.
Well, as for the Steelheads, Thomas Scholl suffered the loss on Wednesday night. It was his first game since November 13th. Idaho will hand things off to Ben Cross, who has won back-to-back games, coming off a 28-save victory last Saturday night and a 3-2 win over the Utah Grizzlies. Cross has been excellent for Idaho here this year, 9-2-3. Honestly, all 3 goalies, when you put Scholl in there, Cross, and even Brian Thompson, Idaho's gotten good goaltending throughout the season this year.
It is, and it's great to have that depth in net and knowing that no matter what you're playing on any night, that the guys feel confident with who's in there.
Let's hear from Associate Coach Keenan Kelly, who we spoke with earlier this morning. Alongside Associate Coach Keenan Kelly, will coach Game 2 of this 3-game series coming up tonight. 4-0 loss on Wednesday. Another game where you guys played shorthanded. Here tonight, you'll have a full lineup, which I'm sure you guys are pretty pumped about.
Yeah, it's really nice to go into the game, obviously, against a tough opponent with a full roster. Certainly makes things a little easier and keeps the legs a little fresher. But, honestly, it's just we got a couple new guys getting into the lineup with Ballant and Bakanov, so Cudler back on the back end. So we're excited to see what happens here tonight.
I want to ask you about Andrew Ballant and Andrei Bakanov in just a second. They'll make their Idaho Steelheads debut here tonight. But looking back to that game on Wednesday, 4-0 loss, and given everything aside, when you look at it, you guys played shorthanded. You had some injuries during the game. Boy, at one point you were down to 9 forwards in that one. You might look at the score and say, it was a little bit of a disappointment. But overall, you guys held your own. I thought played a pretty good game.
Ultimately, we were pleased with our compete level. One thing that we certainly need to improve upon tonight is just our commitment to getting pucks in and forcing their D to turn. So, just our commitment to simplicity. We're confident that our speed can create some problems for these guys, but Florida's too structured for us to try and get 2Q through the neutral zone and off our O-zone entries. So we're committed to keeping it simple. I think we'll have a lot more success here tonight.
Well, let's look at the 2 new faces in the lineup. Andrew Ballant, who you guys acquired in a trade from the Indy Fuel, and Andrei Bakanov from the Fort Wayne Comets just earlier this week. I feel like 2 kind of different types of players. What can you tell us about those 2?
Yeah, Bakanov, he's a big body. He can be pretty disruptive when he's hard and heavy on the forecheck. So, we're excited to get a big body that can move, up front to kind of add to our depth here tonight. Ballant, he's a sandpaper type of guy. He's kind of got a little blue collar attitude. He brings a lot of grit and a lot of physicality to the lineup. But in addition to that, he brings a scoring touch as well, and a pretty intelligent hockey player that finds himself in a lot of the right spots. So we're excited to add those 2 pieces here tonight.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck and have some fun tonight.
Thanks, Cam.
Well, our theme all week has been who is playing for the Idaho Steelheads and where'd they come from. So we start first here with Andre Bakanov. This will be his third team this year. He began the season with the Worcester Railers, then with the Bloomington Bison. His fourth team, and then he was with Fort Wayne. He was acquired on Monday. He's a big body, though, 6'3", 215 pounds, Moscow, Russia native. He spent some time in the KHL as well, has over 100 games of ECHL experience. Obviously, I worked in Worcester. I knew their coach as well, so I asked him what he thinks. He said he's going to be a good player that can be good on the PK, good net front PP, and whenever you get a size like that up front, that's a big addition.
Definitely a big addition. I think that's something that they've needed, a little more grittiness up front and, a little bit tougher. So hopefully to have a player that can play both ways like that, his big body, can move and can make plays is definitely going to add to the team.
And a player that Idaho is really excited about is forward Andrew Ballant, who was acquired in a trade this past Sunday in exchange for forward Thomas Karan. Indy this season, they've struggled to score goals. So you look at his numbers this year, just 8 points in 28 games, but a 40-point season last year in 68 games, 27 points the year before in 64 games. This is a player that Keenan Kelly knows very well and speaks very highly of. He can provide some offense, and he can also provide that grit as well, which we know that they're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. 40 points is no joke in this league, and if Coach Kelly has a relationship with him and knows his past, sometimes it just takes that little boost mid-season and the right team to make things click. So hopefully he can start contributing on the offensive side right away and get back in the groove that he can do.
Andrew Ballant, 173 ECHL games, 37 goals, and 78 points. So we'll see two new faces make their Idaho Steelheads debut as it's Idaho and Florida here from downtown Boise when we come back next.
At the pump. With a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
Life happens. Lucky for you, ICCU has a new kind of checking account that comes with benefits, including 24/7 telehealth.
Wait, through my ICCU checking account?
On it.
Along with a whole lot of other benefits you might need. Because being human is a full-time job.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
If you like options, you'll love my $5 all-day big deal meal. Choose from 4 delicious entrees and 5 tasty sides with a drink. Oh, and nobody else includes breakfast items all day. Just this guy. At Jack, every bite's a big deal.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
This is not a blue moon. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. A blue moon isn't a blue moon without a fresh orange.
It's time now for Idaho Steelheads Hockey, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, the exclusive credit union provider of the Idaho Steelheads, Idaho Central Arena, and the Grove Hotel. Coors Light, cold as the Rockies. Choose chill. Project Filter, you decide when, we will show you how. St. Luke's, for more than 100 years, Idaho families have been choosing St. Luke's Boise Medical Center. And Blue Cross of Idaho, born of the people and places we know best.
One more time, fans, let's give it up for Hillside Junior High.
Back inside the Idaho Central Arena here in downtown Boise. Cam McGuire upstairs with you alongside Kelly Cup champion Corey Scorin, Mark Brose from North St. Louis down a nice level in between the benches. Rosie, I didn't have an opportunity to get your keys plugged in for our visual audience here tonight, but I'll read them because Brosey forgot his phone at home tonight. So, unless you remember them, Bros.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna try to remember some of them. And Corey, you can explain them.
Oh, great!
Yeah. Slow down the blades through, the neutral zone. Also win the puck battles, and just shoot more. I think.
I'm looking at my phone because you don't have yours clearly. Slow down the blades in the neutral zone, so you're 1 for 1 there. Win puck battles, 2 for 2. And then take advantage of the power play opportunities.
Of the power plays,
yeah.
But because you're not going to score a lot of goals against this team,
no.
5-on-5.
Well, fortunately enough, we'll see a different goaltender for Florida. We saw Cam Johnson on Wednesday night continue a magnificent season. Here tonight, we'll see Will Cranley get his 10th appearance of the year. Cranley was assigned on Wednesday from the AHL Springfield Thunderbirds on an NHL contract with the St. Louis Blues. 4-4-1 record, a 2.32 goals against, a save percentage of .917. Steelheads have faced Cranley last season when he played with the Utah Grizzlies. Meanwhile, for Idaho, they hand things off to Ben Cross here tonight. He's won back-to-back games. The rookie out of New Jersey, 28 saves last Saturday in a 3-2 win over the Utah Grizzlies. Cross looking to get Idaho back into the win column and win 3 straight for the first time this season. We're underway from downtown Boise. Steelheads in their white sweaters skating right to left, starting up front with Jade Miller, Blake Swetlikoff, and McGregor Sinclair, Connor Punnett, and Reese Harsh back defensively. As Punnett back behind the cage of Cross to retrieve it. Sinclair will hoist it out through center ice. Steelheads dressing a full lineup here for the first time. I think they've gone 3 straight games with having to dress short due to the lack of bodies. C.J. Walker injured in the game on Wednesday. He was placed on the 14-day IR. 7 players now on the 14-day injured reserve list.
Oh, that's quite the hit for Coach Sheen and Kelly to have to deal with. But that gives other guys opportunity to get in the lineup and to play and develop. So sometimes it can be a good thing. Guys can really come into their own when they get those extra opportunities.
Yeah, so many new names for Cam to remember.
Well, Rosie, I was telling Scorsy it's been a while since he's been up with us here, and I'm like, do you even know who's on the team anymore?
No. Yeah.
Or who's healthy is probably the bigger question.
Yeah.
Well, a familiar face. I hope you know this guy, A.J. White, out onto the ice now with Dimitrios Komantzis, Patrick Moynihan. A quick change. And now Idaho sends out a line of Andrew Ballant, Andre Bakanov in their Steelheads debut. And centering that line is Brendan Hoffman. 90 seconds gone by here on this Friday evening from downtown Boise. Cross inside the trapezoid, sends it up the near wall. Steelheads 17-3-3. The Everblades 23-6-3. Here comes Bakanov. Left circle. That's a drive go, and it was sticked off by Moberg back defensively. He made his season debut on Wednesday night, Cole Moberg. And now Bakanov will chop it to the near wall. Big bodies up front there on that line. Hoffman 6'3", as well as Bakanov. Ballant heads off for a change. Bros, this is kind of what we saw on Wednesday night, right? Just back and forth. We didn't really have any whistles for the first couple of minutes and not a lot of grade A chances. It was just kind of like a seesaw effect.
Steelheads played a great third period. And but I want to, for the fans, Corey, you get to explain, how do you slow a team down that has so much speed going through the neutral zone?
Finishing your checks is one of them. I mean, I think when you don't finish your checks and you turn off guys, it just allows them to keep their momentum and get back into play. And just, puck on stick and taking care of your guys and not losing them and not allowing them to make those clean passes and gain that speed coming through the neutral zone. And that starts with a great forecheck and puck possession. I mean, the more you have the puck, the less they're going to be able to do something with it, right?
Rose, we got Mike White tuned in here tonight just sent me a picture. He's out driving through the snow. Perfect night for 600 miles. Getting to listen to Cam, Scorsy, and Brosey. Here's an opportunity from Florida's Gary Hayden. Directed away wide. Hayden had 2 goals in the Everblades 4-0 win on Wednesday night. Now Tyson's shot. Where is it? And Cross will sit on his backside. And we'll see a stoppage in play. It was the 5th time Idaho has been shut out this season on Wednesday night for the Everblades. It was their 5th shutout of the season. It was Cam Johnson's 4th. And Johnson 18-2-1. He improved to Scorsy a 1.60 goals against average, a save percentage of .936.
Wow, he's having a season, that's for sure. I mean, his
joke.
confidence has got to be high coming off of last season too, and when you got a team like that in front of you, it definitely helps.
There's a look at Mark Oliver. He's back into the lineup tonight for Idaho. Was out with an illness on Wednesday. On a line tonight with Matt Ustaski and Mason McCarty. We'll see a face-off to the glove-hand side of Ben Cross. 2:56 gone by in the opening 20. Shots are 3-0 Florida. Hayden to the far wall. Cade Landry, the only lineup change for Florida here tonight, minus the goaltending position. Cade Landry slides in on the back line for Sean Allen. As Punnett directs it behind the net of Cranley, and they're going to say that it went off of McCarty in an offside call. Three officials tonight, same referee as Wednesday, Dylan Sater, the linesman Will Anderson, and Eric Landquist. Face off at the center circle, one back by Florida's Needham. And now Harsh pokes it back up the far wall. Looks like we got a loose net guard at that center circle. I was wondering for a second, I'm like, what's the dirty laundry down there? Idaho in on the attack here, right to left. The line of Miller, Swetlikoff, and McCarty. McCarty will play it back behind the cage. Moberg will settle it down. And Idaho will swap out forward lines. A.J. White, Patrick Moynihan, and Demetrios Comances come out. Bros, we saw Comances get injured on Wednesday night. It was just kind of a stick or a puck up towards the facial area, so a good sign for Idaho, but they do lose C.J. Walker. We didn't see him return after the first period on Wednesday.
Yeah, that was he had a good first period, too.
Great season for the Boise native. But he'll be sidelined for a little bit with an injury, and Cross will absorb this one in the blue paint. And will hang on for no further play. Bros, Scorsy and I talked about during pregame. If you look at it on paper, Idaho 22nd in terms of goals against average out of 29 teams, but they've gotten great goaltending this year, whether it's been Brian Thompson, Ben Cross, or Thomas Scholl.
Yeah, and Thompson's been kind of the hard luck kid, playing really good, but not getting the wins.
That's what they called you in high school. Nice shot block there. We talked with Patrick Kudla, who's back as a defenseman here tonight, paired up with Pito Walton. And Cuds played the last 3 games as a forward, excited to get back to the defensive position. There was certainly no lack of compete or effort on Wednesday night as Kudla drives it out through center. Will flip it towards Cranley, and he'll glove it away, and it'll set up an Idaho offensive zone faceoff. Bros, you looked at it, right? You were with us Wednesday night. It was a 4-0 shutout loss, and a lot of people on paper would see that and kind of roll their eyes. But realistically, I thought Idaho, with playing shorthanded at one point during the game, they were down to 9 forwards. They managed it very well.
Yeah, it was, the statistics sometimes are deceiving, but third period, the Steelheads played a good game, and it was good. Corey, we were out of here at like 9:38. I mean,
2 hours and 11 minutes.
Oh, wow.
The game was, yeah.
I think there was only 4 penalties.
Yeah.
Well, when you're short like that, you definitely want to stay out of the box, because when you start having to put guys on the PK a lot, that really wears that bench down even more.
Yeah, Idaho was 0 for 1 on the power play. Florida was 0 for 2. Now a loose puck in front of Cross is going to be backhanded into the Florida end by Ballant, and it will roll enough for an icing. I don't think Idaho wanted that icing as the Florida defense was right back there. Here's the chance in front of Cross. Logan Lambden.
See, they can't get three whacks at that.
Yeah.
2, 3. Yeah, great job by Cross to stick with that and cover up that second and third chance.
You know, that's a good point, Corey. They gave up the blue paint a little bit too much, and Florida scored those kind of goals. Whack, 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 and that's tough for your goalie.
It really is. Their expectation is to stop the first one. The D got to get back in there and take away that second, third opportunity and protect that paint.
5.5 gone by. Shots are 9-1 Everblades. As we remain scoreless, Ballant will feed Bakanov out through center. He'll gain center red, scoop it back behind the net of Cranley. Back to play it. Cade Landry, left wing side for Lansdale. Lansdale will scoop it behind the net of Cross. Now Hayden from the corner tries to center in front. Broken up by Idaho's Ustaski. The Steelheads will fling it back into the attacking end. Oliver, McCarty, and Ustaski heading in on the forecheck. Oliver knocked to the ground by Landry. Now Lansdale will sweep it to the far wall for Hayden, who gets to the red line and will dump it in. Cross inside the trapezoid to the corner for Register. Up the left wing side for the veteran Oliver. Now Ustaski able to direct it on in. The Steelheads will get a full sail change. Gaudette back behind the net of Cranley. Rolls out to the near side. Snaps it up the right wing for Malmstrom. And once again, Cross back to play it. Miller angles it ahead for Svetlikov. Blake Svetlikov, the rookie out of Saskatchewan. Play it into the near corner. Now over on the far side, Miller giving chase to Nurse. And Florida able to escape free out through center. Here's going to be a breakaway for Ben Brar to the forehand, and he scores. Ben Brar will give Florida a 1-0 lead on his 5th goal this season with 13:06 to go in the first.
Just found that empty lane on the backside, and I think the D just got caught up a little too low, and nice little sauce pass over, and he was all alone, and I give it to him. That was a nice little move, open and cross up and sliding it home. But these are the opportunities that you cannot give to Florida.
Yeah.
You can't give them an inch because they're gonna capitalize in.
Came out of their zone untouched.
Yeah, and that's to talk about that slowing them down. You got to get bodies. You got to pick up your guys and not letting guys behind you.
Well, the Everblades get the game's first goal. Florida this year 15-2-2 when taking a 1-0 lead. Ben Brar's 5th of the season from Craig Needham. And Marc-Andre Gaudette at 6:54 of period 1. Idaho off the reset will send out Comonsees, Moynihan, and White. Jordan Sambrick will roll back behind his own blue line for the Everblades. And it's chipped back in as Kudla's back to retrieve it. Kudla, 21 points on the season, 5 goals in 33 games. We mentioned back on the blue line here tonight. Snaps it ahead for Ballant, who will angle it to the corner and head in on the forecheck. Now over up the far side. Bakanov to the corner for Hoffman. Brendan Hoffman, one of Idaho's leading goal getters in the lineup here tonight, 13 on the season. Net front, Bakanov sweeps it along the end boards. Controlling on his backhand, Hoffman to the right point, Zins. Center of the line, Register had it in his skates. Nice job to corral it and flip it back to the far corner. McCarty knocked to the ground behind the net of Cranley by Hargrove. Now Hoffman to the net, and he scores! Brendan Hoffman, a laser upstairs on Cranley, his 14th goal this season. We're deadlocked at 1 with 11:43 to go in the first period.
That's the forecheck we need out of them. Sustained pressure down low, taking care of that puck. Not throwing it to spaces and waiting for something to open up. And great job by Hoffman just to turn around and fire that thing top shelf. But great forecheck, great pressure down low and staying on him, forcing the turnover.
Well, Brendan Hoffman has had the hot hand for Idaho. That's his 7th goal in his last 10 games. And a big-time goal for the Steelheads shortly after the Everblades had taken a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that gets the fans in it. I mean, if you're a hockey player and you're not showing up on a Friday night, snowy outside, you get to play hockey. How good is that, Corey?
Yeah, great night for hockey right there. You can tell Hoffman was pumped off of that one. Get the boys back in it here.
Well, the goal comes at 8:17, and here's another one. Wow, just like that, Idaho will take a 2-1 lead. It's going to be Patrick Moynihan.
There we go, right off of that offensive pressure again, getting that puck low, working it behind the goal line, getting that pass out front. Great job. AJ cutting off that wrap.
I think AJ caught some air.
I think he might have. The old guy got up there.
Oh, wow.
Stopped that rim.
I think
by Cranley, and then he was able to just...
He was above the kickboards.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3.5-inch vertical.
Yeah. Wow. AJ White, Sky.
Well, a mishandle by Cranley. And a pair of goals 19 seconds apart from one another. And Idaho, just like that, takes a 2-1 lead. Patrick Moynihan, his third goal of the season from A.J. White and Dimitrios Komatsis. We haven't had an immediate timeout yet. Now we'll finally get one. 11:03 to go in the first. Hoffman and Moynihan in the span of seconds. And it's 2-1 Idaho when we come back.
It's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of health care. It's not an easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
If you like options, you'll love my $5 all-day big deal meal. Choose from 4 delicious entrees and 5 tasty sides with a drink. Oh, and nobody else includes breakfast items all day. Just this guy. At Jack, every bite's a big deal.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
All right. Thanks. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Well, the Steelheads have had a lot of roster changes over the last couple of weeks, and a positive impact into the lineup has been Patrick Moynihan, who was acquired from the Greenville Swamp Rabbits in exchange for defenseman Chandler Romeo 8 days ago. Moynihan with the go-ahead tally 19 seconds after Brendan Hoffman had tied the score at 1. Moynihan with 3 points, his second goal in 4 games with Idaho, as we welcome you back inside the Idaho Central Arena here in downtown Boise. Cam McGuire upstairs with you alongside Kelly Cup champion Corey Scorin, Mark Rose down a nice level in between the benches. Well, that's one way to get this crowd into it, isn't it, Scores?
It sure is. Got them out of their seats on Friday night here, warming them up a little bit.
52 consecutive regular season sellouts here in Idaho heading into tonight's matchup. Steelheads fell 4-0 in the series opener on Wednesday night against the back-to-back Kelly Cup champions in the Florida Everblades. Ustaski will play this deep back behind the net of Cranley. Out with Ballant and Svetlikov. Idaho right to left in their white sweaters. Ustaski heads off for a change. As Walton activates from the right point, Miller holds the line and will backhand it behind the net of Cranley. Officially halfway gone here through the first period. Idaho with 2 goals on just 3 shots on net. Shots are 11-3 right now. Ballant right circle off the crossbar. The red light went on, but the referee in that corner, Dylan Sater, signaled that did not go in. But what a shot there!
What
for
a release!
Ballant.
What a quick release!
Wow,
that was a laser beam. The boys are buzzing now, finishing checks. I think they're seeing a little success. What happens when you get that puck low and finish checks, and they're buzzing now.
Moynihan corrals it out through center. He'll backhand it in deep. Took a shot from Hargrove. Steelheads want a penalty. They're irate. fans as well. Back out through center ice. Gasevich for the Everblades, tied up at the attacking line. Bakanov now, right circle, lost it. Scooped up by Florida's Kyle, ahead for Jasevich. Trying to split register and Hoffman back, rolling puck towards Cross as Hoffman was knocked off his feet. And Cross will hang on to it. With 8:56 to go in the first, we'll step aside for another media timeout.
Hey, grab me one too.
Life happens. Lucky for you, the new ICCU Central Plus checking account comes with benefits, including cell phone protection.
Wait, through my ICCU checking account?
That's right. Along with a whole lot of other benefits you might need. Because being human is a full-time job.
Well, we're only 11 minutes and 4 seconds into this contest. There's been no shortage of action as the Steelheads lead at 2-1 and nearly 3-1 as Andrew Ballon, a heavy wrister off the post, and then right after, Patrick Moynihan took a shot from Florida veteran forward Colton Hargrove. No penalty called on the play. The temperature and the atmosphere is starting to heat up, though, isn't it?
It sure is. You can kind of feel it right now. Everybody's on the edge of their seat. There's been some great action.
Cam McGuire back with you upstairs inside the broadcast booth. That's Kelly Cup champion Corey Score and Mark Bros for North St. Louis. Down at ice level, Hargrove will weave his way into the zone. An off-angle shot, right pad saved by Cross, his 11th of the game. Steelheads being outshot 12-3 right now. They've scored on their last 2 shots on net in this game. An icing call against Idaho. If you're just tuning in for the first time tonight, Florida's Ben Brar on a breakaway made it 1-0 at 6:54. 83 seconds later, Brendan Hoffman with his 14th of the campaign, and then 19 seconds after that, Patrick Moynihan with the go-ahead tally. And Brosey, those are not the two fastest goals apart from one another this season. I was waiting for you to ask that.
I'm just a spectator tonight.
You're always trying to trick us up.
That's an easy question. I get the hard,
You're a hard hitter only.
No interference there, huh?
Sandbrook.
Let him play. He's letting him play. I like it.
Sandbrook will eye down Comanziz, who heads off for a change. Assist tonight from A.J. White, Dimitrios Comanziz on Moynihan's tally. Bakanov and McCarty on Hoffman's, and another stop here from Cross. A.J. White, 399 career ECHL points now. One of a handful of members on this club that was on the team that lost to Florida in the Kelly Cup Finals back during the 2023 Kelly Cup Final run.
Okay, I'll give you a question, Cam. How many periods have we gone into the end of the first period with the lead?
Say that again, sorry.
How many games have we've gone into the intermission after one with the lead?
7 times.
Okay. Corey?
7 times.
Okay.
I was going to tell Cam the answer if he didn't know it.
Yeah. Brosey left his phone at home, or else he would have known. Pass intercepted out through center by Idaho's Svetlikov. And he'll squib it back in deep.
Oh.
There you go, bros. I was waiting for it.
Corey, that's...
now it's go time.
That's... His word is squib.
Nurse into the belly of Cross. I'm only going to use it like a couple times.
No, you can only use it 1 or 2 times.
Like once a period, maybe. Yeah. How about that? Because it's almost like a test now. It's like a game to see if Brosey picks up on it. Because the other night during one of the games, he's like, "Oh, I love that word."
Squib.
Jefferson Dahl isn't intelligent enough to know.
He thought it was a.
He thought I was saying squid.
It was a pharmaceutical company.
He's watching tonight. He was texting. He was all concerned that we didn't have your keys up to the game. I told him he could have made the graphics today.
Yeah, with
he's probably he's probably on his couch right now. He's got 4 blankets wrapped around him.
His dog on his lap.
Oh yeah.
Oops, excuse me.
Go right down there, Brosy. Thought the puck came at you or something.
Is that a sneeze?
No, that was a Jefferson Dahl cough.
You know you have a cough button.
I know. I didn't get it. I didn't get it enough quick enough. All right.
Back up on you.
All right, back to hockey, huh? Kudla up the right wing. And here's Bakanov. He's got some real estate from the near dot. And the midsection of Cranley with Hoffman driving the net. It remains a 2-1 Idaho lead inside 6 minutes to go. He's looked pretty darn good here in the first period.
Does. Using that big body, getting pucks to the net.
No, not afraid to shoot.
Walton up the near side. This will be an icing call against Idaho with 5:36 to go in period number 1. Let's look at.
Walton he tried to sneak off.
I feel like you used to. Well, that probably wasn't around back in the day when you were.
No.
I had to catch myself before I even finished. I'm like, well, wait a second.
Off the glass or anything.
Glass is chain link fence for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just out of the zone. High and hard.
That's a penalty, yes.
There we go.
Moynihan draws it as Lambden got his stick underneath Patrick Moynihan, and now you got Jasevich going after Moynihan. And we'll take a timeout for our radio audience. Idaho on the power play when we come back with 5:32 to go in the first. They'll look to increase their lead to 3-1. So Lambden to the box at 14:28. We spoke with Patrick Moynihan earlier this week on our Steelheads hockey show. I was like, he came over from Greenville. He had played 27 games. I'm like, you probably saw Florida a couple times. He goes, no, we only saw Florida once, and we lost 8-0. So I was like, okay. And then we talked to Pito Walton earlier this morning, who we'll hear from during one of our intermissions tonight. He came over from the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and I was like, yeah, this is like great material. We've got these 2 guys new to the team that play in the same division as Florida. And he goes, yeah, we actually, when I was there, I never played against Florida. I'm like, well, okay, there goes my good question.
Time to circle back, huh?
Yeah. The layup.
Well, you got to believe they had this circled on the calendar this year.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Steelheads will head on the power play with 5:32 to go in the first. They'll send out Comonsees, White, Moynihan as the 3 forwards, Walton and Kudla, the 2 defenders back. Just 1 power play opportunity on Wednesday night. Idaho was 0 for 1. They win the faceoff blocker side of Cranley. Net front here is White. Moynihan near half wall. Good pass up to the center line, Walton. Back for Kudla, left side. Him and Moynihan will switch positions. That bumper spot, White. Good stick by Jasevich. Moynihan comes in to repossess it. White bounces it back up. Walton, far circle. Comonsees his drive into the shin pads of Sambrook. Comonsees will dart back down the boards to the corner for White. 30 seconds gone by in the power play. Idaho has kept it in the O-zone the entire time here. Walton. Long-range shot, punched aside by Cranley. Kudla gets the rebound, and another blocker saved by Cranley, steered away to the back wall. Moynihan recollects on the wall. It just squirts out through center ice. Florida going to head off for some changes on their penalty killers as Walton will circle away from Nurse. Snap it back in front of the Idaho bench for Comonsees, who will now head off for a change.
Good movement, a couple good shots. Just I think need a little more traffic in front.
I liked it. They didn't force a pass, through an area where there were a lot of sticks.
Yeah. Florida's got a good box there, and they're taking away that bumper pass and collapsing to the net pretty well. So, yeah, you don't want to be forcing those pucks through, and good patience on that.
34 seconds remaining. on the Steelheads power play, late stages of the first. Harsh to the cage. Off the stick of Cranley. Nurse ahead for Betts, one-on-one against Register. Hoffman on the back check. Betts, right circle, loses a tire. And blocked up by Register. Obviously, the power play units look very, very different. Ty Pelt and Bice, 7 power play goals. Hank Crone, 11 power play points to lead Idaho. Out of the lineup once again for the Steelheads. Missing there 4 straight games now, and out of the box comes Lambden. Steelheads dropped 0 for 1 on the man advantage. How hard is that, Scorsy, when you go through so much changes in a lineup, not only with new personnel having to kind of reteach your power play, but when you lose 2 of your biggest power play threats in Pelt and Bice and Crone, how difficult is that?
I think it's tough. I mean, obviously you got a couple guys like that are just so good on the power play, but I mean, at this point of the year, it's not a bad, for guys to get an opportunity, guys that may not have, and see if they can step up, because going to the playoffs, if you can get guys to develop on that power play that might not get a chance because of some unfortunate injuries, then you're just that much deeper heading into the playoffs when you never know what could happen.
Yeah, but how many times does you lose your 2 guys? Patrick Kane and I'm sorry, the other
Jonathan Taves.
Yeah, Jonathan Taves, great Blackhawk duel, and to lose them both.
Yeah, that's definitely a big blow when you lose 2 guys like that are so good on that power play and can move that puck so well and put it in the net.
Here's Comonsees behind the net of Cranley to the line. Walton tipped. Moynihan's bid. I don't think it made its way to Cranley. Last couple of moments, physicality has certainly picked up. So punt it, deliver a check on the veteran Hargrove. Punt it, a force on the back line for Idaho. And now here come the Everblades, 3-on-2. Jasevich across the zone. Hargrove back for Jasevich. It went off the paddle across, as Hargrove kind of just caught in an awkward position there.
He did a great job by Cross getting out front and kicking that rebound past the third man in there.
Pretty much a 3-on-1.
Yeah, pretty much was, yeah.
Mentioned the physicality of Connor Punnett. 69 penalty minutes this year, second amongst league rookies. 90 seconds remaining in the opening 20 minutes. Idaho on top 2-1, despite being outshot 15-7. Ballant able to advance it out through center, played back in by Florida's Doherty. And I can confirm Jefferson Dahl is on his couch with his dog. Picture evidence. Maybe we work that into the game here. Must be nice to have a night off, Brosy. We're out here working hard, right?
I'm thankful that Corey's here.
Jefferson must have turned tonight down.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a parking spot.
Yeah.
Inside a minute remaining now. Gaudette lost it for a second, got it back, and Betts with the redirection just wide. That had that top left corner written all over it.
He was dangling all the way from the blue line.
Miller, far wall into the O-zone, spins it towards Cranley off his right pad. 20 seconds left now. I heard the snow is accumulating outside. Was it snowing when you got it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's starting to pick up pretty good.
Harsh back behind his own blue. Steers it up the ice. Floats it into the glove of Cranley, who lays it back behind the net for Moberg. Now Punnett slingshots it to the far wall. Well, that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes of play. Back-to-back goals from Idaho. Hoffman ties it at 1 with his 14th of the season. Then Moynihan 19 seconds later with his second in his 4th game as a Steelhead. And Idaho will take a 2-1 lead into the dressing room after 20 minutes of play. Stick with us. We'll break it down. Our first period stats and summary brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union. And we'll also hear from associate coach Keenan Kelly, who we spoke with earlier this morning. All that to come after this 3-minute timeout.
Sometimes, a piece of furniture can completely change your space. Whether you're looking for cozy, sturdy, or a little personality, Scandinavian Designs Furniture curates modern pieces meant to look inviting in any space, with plenty of styles and fabrics to choose from. Scandinavian Designs Furniture. We make it simple. You make it home. Shop our Boise and Meridian locations, or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Papa Murphy's new cheesy stuffed crust pizza. Made fresh by us, baked fresh by you. Starting at $13.99, it's the hottest, meltiest stuffed crust pizza you'll ever have. Because it goes straight from our kitchen to yours. For fresh out of your oven, piping hot, cheesy goodness. It's what stuffed crust pizza should be.
Hey, grab me one too.
I've always wanted to do that.
I always wanted to do this.
I always wanted to do that! Next round on me.
KTVB Plus is your destination for all things Idaho. Get live breaking news, catch up on newscasts,
Right to what's in the news
get
today.
your local sports fill,
Welcome on into Bronco Roundup.
your first alert weather
Able to
forecast,
get out and enjoy the sunshine.
watch special programming, and so much more.
Oh, this is fun.
With KTVB Plus, watch anytime on your schedule, all for free. It's live, it's local, and it's streaming right now. Download the KTVB Plus app for free on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV today.
Back inside the Idaho Central Arena here in downtown Boise. A great first period for the Steelheads. They lead the Florida Everblades by a score of 2-1. Cam McGuire back upstairs with you alongside Kelly Cup champion Corey Scorin. Well, we'll check out our stats and summary right here. Let's look at those final stats brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union. Shots on goal, 15-8 in favor of Florida. Boy, once they got their first goal, we'll see the goals in just a moment here. Ben Brar made it 1-0 at 6:54. At that point, shots were 11-1, but you know, when you look at it, it wasn't a lot of grade A chances, I felt like.
Yeah, a lot of just throwing pucks on net, and Cross was squaring up to him pretty well and smothering those rebounds. They had a couple in the paint opportunities, but overall, nothing too grade A for sure.
And not to take anything away from Ben Cross, right? There were a couple of chances in the blue paint, and he was able to stand his ground.
Yeah, he was stopping the, not only the first chance, but the second and the third. So great job by him to keep him in it.
Only one power play in that first period. Idaho got it with about 5 minutes to go in the first period. The physicality certainly did not lack, though, and the refs letting them play tonight. Sometimes you never know what you're going to get, right? One night it could be they're calling everything. One night they're kind of letting things go. And there was a couple times where we saw Dylan Sater let things go.
Yeah, he did, and that's great. I mean, if you're going to do it, just be consistent.
Yeah.
And, you just got to test the refs every night and see what they're going to let you do. And, I mean, being physical is, I think it's a big part of their game right now and what they need to do to slow down Florida, and it's been paying off.
Which, give Dylan Sater credit. He was on both sides, right?
100%,
He let things go for both teams. I mean, as a player, right, you can speak on this. Like, is it one of those things where you like it more when the referee, linesman, whoever's making it, like, lets things go, or do you like all these sorts of penalties?
When they let it go, it gets the play of the game going. It gets the intensity up, and it just lets guys play their game, and it helps with that flow. Less whistles, and you just get that flow going, and the shifts are rolling, and you get more and more guys into the game as the shifts go, and it's a lot more fun for sure as a player.
I knew what your answer was going to be, but I had to ask the question. Let's take you back into the highlights from the first period of play. Idaho would fall behind 1-0. Ben Brar with a breakaway goal, 6:54. Cross coming a little bit out of the crease there, but a nice move from Brar and making it 1-0 there.
Yeah, Brar got behind the D there, and I mean, he had from the blue line in all alone, and he had a lot of time to think about the move he was going to do.
Well, shortly after, 83 seconds later, Idaho in hard on the forecheck with Bakanov and McCarty and Brendan Hoffman, who, gosh, can he shoot the puck? His 14th of the season. You could hear it upstairs, far side on Cranley to tie it at 1.
That was a laser beam, and a great job establishing that forecheck and just getting on those walls and stopping Florida from moving that puck around and got it out front.
Well, you talk about being hard on the forecheck as well. Cranley, kind of a mishandle, but A.J. White, right place, right time, great feed. Obviously, the puck was bouncing off the stanchion. It comes down to him at ice level, and Patrick Moynihan slams it home 19 seconds later, and that's how Idaho has a 2-1 lead after the first period of play. And, Scorsese, we know that this lineup is decimated. They're without a lot of their top scorers, but for the first time, like we mentioned earlier tonight, playing with a full lineup. And sometimes when you're without a lot of your top players, you need to simplify your game plan. That's what Idaho has done here, and simplifying it, getting in hard on the forecheck. They got rewarded in the first by doing that.
They did, just keeping it simple and, taking the game to Florida, keeping in their zone, controlling that puck. And it's given, again, I've said it a few times tonight, giving guys opportunity to step up into roles and work on their game and be in situations they might not be in if you had those other guys in the lineup.
Well, before we take our time out here on our first intermission report, we caught up with Associate Coach Keenan Kelly earlier this morning to talk about the game on Wednesday night. Some new faces in the lineup here this evening as well.
Alongside Associate Coach Keenan Kelly, will coach Game 2 of this 3-game series coming up tonight. 4-0 loss on Wednesday. Another game where you guys played shorthanded. Here tonight, you'll have a full lineup, which I'm sure you guys are pretty pumped about.
Yeah, it's really nice to go into the game, obviously, against a tough opponent with a full roster. Certainly makes things a little easier and keeps the legs a little fresher. But, honestly, it's just, we got a couple new guys getting into the lineup with Ballant and Bakanov. So, Cutler back on the back end. So we're excited to see what happens here tonight.
I want to ask you about Andrew Ballant and Andre Bakanov in just a second. They'll make their Idaho Steelheads debut here tonight. But looking back to that game on Wednesday, 4-0 loss, and given everything aside, when you look at it, you guys played shorthanded. You had some injuries during the game. Boy, at one point you were down to 9 forwards in that one. You might look at the score and say, it was a little bit of a disappointment, but overall you guys held your own. I thought played a pretty good game.
Ultimately we were pleased with our compete level. One thing that we certainly need to improve upon tonight is just our commitment to getting pucks in and forcing their D to turn. So just our commitment to simplicity. We're confident that our speed can create some problems for these guys, but Florida's too structured for us to try and get 2Q through the neutral zone and off our O-zone entries. So we're committed to keeping it simple. I think we'll have a lot more success here tonight.
Well, let's look at the two new faces in the lineup. Andrew Ballant, who you guys acquired in a trade from the Indy Fuel, and Andre Bakanov from the Fort Wayne Comets just earlier this week. I feel like two kind of different types of players. What can you tell us about those two?
Yeah, Bakanov, he's a big body. He can be pretty disruptive when he's hard and heavy on the forecheck. So, we're excited to get a big body that can move, up front to kind of add to our depth here tonight. Ballant, he's a sandpaper type of guy. He's kind of got a little blue collar attitude. He brings a lot of grit and a lot of physicality to the lineup. But in addition to that, he brings a scoring touch as well, and a pretty intelligent hockey player that finds himself in a lot of the right spots. So we're excited to add those two pieces here tonight.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck and have some fun tonight.
Thanks, Cam.
This is not a blue moon. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. A blue moon isn't a blue moon without a fresh orange.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Fred Meyer always gives you more ways to save on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Fred Meyer app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. With a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
You're feeding it.
I will, I promise. Thanks to our Premier Rewards Visa credit card from ICCU, we earned enough cash back to stock up on puppy supplies.
But we don't have a puppy.
They're very convincing children.
Every day, we lose 22 of our nation's veterans to suicide. The battle for their mental health doesn't end when they return home. These are the heroes that fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs. To help them breathe, to heal, and to find peace again. We believe that nature gives the freedom to heal. At Fireside Pine, our clothing is American-made, veteran-owned, and every purchase helps nonprofit organizations dedicated to veteran mental health. Together, we can give veterans the freedom to heal. Now open at the Village in Meridian.
Everywhere you look, it's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of health care. It's not an easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
Nestled in downtown Boise, Anthony's is more than just a restaurant, it's an experience. Their commitment to quality is unmatched. Their own seafood company works directly with fishermen and farmers to ensure the finest food arrives at the table bursting with flavor. And don't forget about oysters from the pristine waters of Puget Sound that pair perfectly with a crisp wine or martini. Don't wait. Dive into Boise's best seafood. Reserve your table at anthonys.com and park for free in the Simplot Garage.
This is not a blue moon. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. A blue moon isn't a blue moon without a fresh orange.
Cam McGuire back with you here inside the Idaho Central Arena from downtown Boise. Steelheads with a 2-1 lead over the Florida Everblades after the first period of play despite falling behind 1-0. Ben Brar gave the Everblades a 1-0 lead at 6:54. 83 seconds later, Brendan Hoffman with his 14th goal of the season from Andrei Bakanoff and Mason McCarty. And then 19 seconds after Hoffman's tally,